Like, there will never be a world without social media, and I think we know that.
For a lot of people, it's more important to look good and be seen as good online than it is in real life.
I think, but it is as simple as that, is that if you share positive things, it's almost like positive things will find your way.
We blow things up in our own
massively.
head, you know, like when we're not very brain fit, we're more likely to just blow things up.
And one minute you see a video telling you to do this, and then literally the next video you scroll on is telling you to do the opposite.
So we're going to talk about this very important, well, it's all important, but we've got our younger generation on our podcast today. It's really, really important to hear like your voice and what brain fitness is. So if we're talking about brain fitness, is in its most general sense about the brain's ability to be fit for the demands of life, right? So what we really want to hear in this podcast is about this episode is about the unique demands of your generation that you face. Like what's it like being
my sister calls me a millennial, but on the verge of 2000.
But what are like I know nothing about this, so I really want to know like what are the and I'm sure what that means to you. What are the unique demands that your generation face, and what do you need to be fit to face? Your brain needs to be fit.
Kick off first if you want.
I think it's like conflicting opinions. There's like, don't know, there's always a wrong and a right. So like someone will say, oh, social media is awful for you. Like that is a well-known fact that everyone says. Like my gran will say, if I'm having a bad day or she thinks I'm anxious, she'll go, you need to delete social media. And it's just like, it's not as clear cut as that, because sometimes social media can be good. It's a good way to interact with people without having to actually go out. And other times it's a good distraction. But then I do understand also the point of, actually, it's really toxic. Sometimes you can end up, that's our brain rot we were talking about, that you can end up spending 4 hours and you think you've only been 20 minutes. So there's always, I don't know, a right and a wrong, and there actually isn't a clear cut. It's being able to decide for yourself whilst also having millions of opinions flicked at you from different directions.
It's constant, isn't it? I think it's also in our kind of life, we've kind of seen the change of social media as well, from how
100%.
obviously I remember obviously when the first Instagram, first Snapchat, stuff like that came out, the way that was just more forms of communication in the purest way kind of thing. Yeah. But just online.
Yep.
Now it just seems to be that like the whole of social media in general is trying to distract you from communicating and trying to put you just everywhere, all over the place all the time instead. And that's what's quite hard now, it feels like, is that, like you say, you see so many opinions from different people about different parts of your life that you feel sometimes you do feel like what you're doing is wrong, or what the part of your life that you're doing is wrong, and something you're doing day to day could be something wrong, or
you don't even figure out what's right for yourself.
So there's almost like there's so many messages you got to decipher.
Like you could literally scroll on TikTok and one minute you see a video telling you to do this, and then literally the next video you scroll on is telling you to do the opposite. And like in your head you're like, wait, but what you don't like right now I can say what's right for me. In the moment you don't think that. You just think, oh God, which one am I to do?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
so you can know too much, right? Can't you? Everyone's got
100%.
And it's overwhelming.
So much information all the time.
And that's not good for brain fitness, right?
Exactly. And that's where you kind of you've got to decipher what you want to listen to and what you don't want to listen to. I feel like where I'm at right now is quite good with social media. Like my relationship's quite good. I feel like, because I don't listen to too much. And I turn off notifications and stuff like that, because I just, I kind of like living in real life. I like being with my mates and stuff.
You're the generation, I mean, you can't go to parents and ask their advice, because like they never went through it. Like you're the first generation to go. Your elders, who you normally go to ask, like, how do you do this? They don't have the answer because they haven't been through the social media the same way.
So as like you're a parent, if your boys were to come to you and say, I've seen this on social media, because you've not really experienced social media as a youth like that, would your first opinion be get off social media?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would it? Yeah,
absolutely.
But then to us, like I don't know about you, but to me that makes me want to stay on it more. For someone to just say no, cut it off, that's like, to me that's not the answer.
That's it. And because it's a very different. I know a time when there wasn't. I'm at an age where I know a time when there was no sort of social media and sort of phones, but actually your generation it's part of you, right? Like it's an extension, sort of almost. You can't just say,
it's your profile, isn't it? It's your profile. And for a lot of people, it's more important to look good and be seen as good online than it is in real life. So it's kind of like I say, like having a healthy relationship with social media as a whole.
Yeah.
And I think,
You're perfect. You just need to be about there.
cool. Am I good? Oh, cheers, mate. Thank you.
Oh, I'm perfect. Or is it good? What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. TikTok is like, well, TikTok, I don't know about you, but I say like, oh, I'm going to Google something. And by that, I mean, I'm going to go on TikTok and search it. Like, TikTok is the
TikTok
Google.
is the new Google now, yeah.
Like,
100%.
any
100%,
any
yeah.
advice I need.
For traveling, for anything.
Yeah,
I use it recently when I
anything.
went to Copenhagen with my girlfriend. Like,
Yeah.
it's the same thing, you know. You're like,
So
check out things before
yeah.
you go anywhere or do anything really now.
If you were to cut
Yeah.
off social media, it would literally be like disconnecting yourself from, God, this is really deep actually, disconnecting yourself from the world, which doesn't sound very healthy, but it is. That's like, you would
Yeah.
miss out so much. It's almost like a news app. Like, it's just everything that goes on is on there, which now that I say that sounds absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't
But it
when you
is,
think about
it's
that?
just the world we're in, and it will
It
only
is,
stay
yeah.
that way.
With anything,
Yeah.
with hobbies, with everything. Like, it's. I mean, obviously, it probably started with hobbies, with gaming and stuff like that
Yeah.
back in the day. But now it's kind of just everything. Every aspect of
Yeah.
life is, you find it online.
It literally
first.
started as a dance. Like, it was
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a dance
it's
app. So
TikTok in
people were just
general,
making
yeah.
up dances, and that's what TikTok was. That's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
it
yeah.
was just like, I think it was maybe lockdown.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
sort
it
of
was,
really
wasn't it?
high, that like people were just making up dances to like songs, and these songs would go
Yeah.
viral, and that was amazing for artists like Natasha Bedingfield, like her song Unwritten, and Murder on the Dance Floor, Sophie Baxter. She went massive just from that, and it just goes to show, like, as much as we say social media is awful, the power of social media is amazing. So it's hard for a younger generation to think, like, there will never be a world without social media, and I think we know that, which is why I won't ever.
Yeah.
But also, it's attention
disconnect.
spans as well, though. Has that like? Obviously, we all say it's ruined our attention span, but like you said about brain rot, like sometimes it's good to kind of just shut yourself off and be like, okay, I'll let myself have no attention span for a bit, which sounds
how
wild.
do you
but-
stay fit to that? Because that's so like overwhelming for the brain.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how do you? But it's not going away. So how do we get fitter to cope with that? Like what?
Yeah,
have
where do you think you're at with it, Alex?
Have you found it?
Just doing what's right for you. I almost take it day by day. I've not got a definition to my life. Like, I'm not like a 5 a.m.er who can be like, okay, I'm going to get up and go to the gym, and then I'm going to work. Like, I just, it comes day by day. Some days I'm going to have a really good day where I feel really productive, and the next day I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm in a sort of job where I can think, okay, if today's not a productive day, I'm going to take myself away for a couple of hours and sort of fix myself mentally for a bit, and then maybe my productivity. Like, there's no point in trying to force yourself to do something if you can't do it.
Yeah.
Take yourself out of that situation, better yourself in that moment to what you know is good for you, and then go back to challenge. It's like literally challenge your tri-face. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
You wouldn't run a marathon if you hadn't done any training.
That's right. Yeah.
So why are you going to try
Well, you
and
could,
do?
but you do it yourself a lot.
Yeah, you're going to be like
Get
collapsed
very
on the
far.
floor.
So I did a walking marathon. I
You
was
could
in
give it a
pain.
try,
Yeah.
but it
A
wouldn't
lot
look
of
very
pain,
pretty,
yeah.
would it?
Yeah, it's not going to end
swollen
well.
everything. Yeah.
So like, I don't know, if I've got an important deadline for work, or I'm trying to write a project, I was trying to write the plans for doing some social media stuff, and it took me, I was doing it 2 days in a row, and I just couldn't get anywhere. So I just said, okay, fine, I'm taking myself out of the situation.
Yeah.
And then I went back to it, and I did it in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's like that metaphor about the race. If there's an obstacle and you like you can't get up, is rather than trying to hack at the obstacle and get it down. It's like, just have a rest, and then
Have a minute off,
get maybe a rope or something to go. I don't know what
definitely,
they're for,
definitely.
but
Yeah, I guess it's like that with procrastinating as well, isn't it? Like with anything, really, if you like, social media can be addiction as well. It can be a type of addiction, and if it's causing you to procrastinate and things like that, then you got to work out where the root of the cause is of any type of addiction, and then working away from that and working a healthy way of that, or looking at it in a better way, like you're saying about brain rot, looking at it in a better way of being like I said, like kind of being like, okay, I'm going to spend an hour on just watching whatever comes up on my phone.
So here's a question: do you think this is so general, but like, do you think like your generation are brain fit, or is there a brain FKT epidemic?
I think for me, I'm getting to the definition of brain fit, and maybe that's because I work with FT Labs and it's just around me all the time. Like, I can hang out with my friends, and like, we are one and the same, we're twins, but I can see that she is me before I was sort of like, I don't know, brain PT sessions or something, and
that's really interesting. How do you notice then? What have you noticed has changed?
Like, the negativity in her is just unreal. Like, if she's watching this, I'm sorry. But it is like, I don't know, she just can't rationalize almost. Like, we're both very anxious, as much as brain fitness isn't mental health.
Anxiety comes parts of it.
Yeah,
isn't
it
it's
plays
part of
into
sure.
it, and I still have anxiety, and I will always have anxiety, and that's fine, but I'm able to let it affect me less.
Mm.
It's always there. You can never get rid of it.
When
But
you're
it
not
affect,
brain fit.
yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
had brain PT sessions and they
That's cool.
served me greatly, and like I can have that. It's not as simple as a positive mindset, but it kind of is. It's just being able to, take a breath and realize, okay.
And measure it and manage it as well. Like,
Yeah.
Obviously, like same with
It's almost like you can measure and manage
Yeah.
the demand in the moment. Like, okay, this is a really
Yeah.
bad situation or something, but I can manage this.
Yeah, and that is essentially what we talk about brain fit. Like obviously the brain's really complex, but we make it really basic. If we're talking like the intellectual minds that got the control, it's going to make the proper assessment and go, I can cope. Like this is like whatever this is, like I'm okay, I can cope. If our sort of limbic system, our primitive brain, our like the core brain, like is in control, then it's more likely to go overwhelmed. I can't. Like this is a threat to my life. I can't cope. I've got to fight.
It's that fight or flight. Yeah.
So when you notice your brain's going like, I can cope, and that is it. That is
you kind of get surprised now. Like sometimes when I think, wait, if that was me a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have handled that in the same way that I just handled it.
100%.
You kind of surprise yourself, which now that we both said that makes me think that we are in a brain fit.
Yeah, and I love that. That's just something because
definitely.
it's hard to pin, but I love that. That happens a lot in brain PT. People just go, oh God, it's just that like I wouldn't have done that like
That's the thing, but
6 months ago.
You kind of have to go through something to be able to. I'm sure most people that are watching these would have gone through something that maybe made them brain fitter or just
Absolutely,
fitter
we talk about the idea of stress threshold, basically. So when you're physically fit, like your lactic threshold gets higher because through regular training.
I like that.
Your threshold gets higher, so you can
explain it through that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can do more before you get tired.
Yeah,
you're fitter. Like your lactic threshold's high. Like with the brain, it's the same as you're going through things. I guess it's not great at the time, but you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. You get through to the side, your stress threshold is higher. If you go through really big life events, like as hard as they are, when you're through sort of the other end, like you can cope. It's pretty much not really frightened of anything else. Or if I've gone through that, like nothing really phases me. This whole idea of your stress threshold.
If you know that when you're gonna have those low times, that you will have a higher time, you will have a better time,
and that has to be learned. Unfortunately, it's not, and you can't learn that really through like a TikTok video. You have to learn that through real life.
So that's the thing. A lot of people will shut that off and will probably never learn that as well.
But like life will just give it to you. People say, "How do I exercise my brain? How do I work it out?" Well, like it's real life. Like you just face it. Like as you're facing the challenges, like you are strengthening your brain. When we go, I can't cope, then we're not building the brain strength. So like life will just throw stuff at us to say, we go, have a go at that, and we go, all right then.
But then there's still a certain level of things that I think we talked about before, Emily, where there's just things that you have to accept aren't for you and you can't do. Absolutely. Not in a horrible way that like you will never achieve that, but that if you don't enjoy it and it doesn't feel right for you, that's fine. Like
Absolutely.
I think one time I chose not to go to a family party and I felt horrible inside, and then I said it to you in a session. You said that you didn't want to go. Like
it's also finding those things that you actually want to do as well, because like a lot of people won't even go out and find things that they want. They won't try things. If it's also like kind of there's another barrier of like trying to find things. I mean, even if
it takes courage, doesn't it?
100%. It just takes a bit of bravery.
When we stick to those patterns of like well, I've just got to be kind, and I think this is particularly for like females. Like if you're raised like I've just got to be a good girl and say yes and please people. It's a massive thing. It is a massive.
I've been
but like
when
it's stuck like in these patterns. When you start to like break the patterns and do what feels right to you, it takes courage, but you are strength training like your brain. Like it's really is good for your brain to do that.
I think a people pleaser personality would really relate to that sort of thing of I can't do anything to upset anyone else, but if it's upsetting you, you need to change that.
You're taking all the
I call it, like you said it to me, a brain fit decision. If you can do something that it might feel really selfish and really wrong at the time,
saying
but
no.
But doing something that's right for you is a sign of being brain fit.
And guess what you learn by doing that is you do it, you learn the world didn't end. People still like me. No one's that bothered. And actually like I feel really good, so I'm going to I'm reinforced to do that again.
I think what we would say is it's not that deep. Like it's just it literally doesn't mean that much.
We blow things up in our own head, like when particularly when we're not very brain fit, we're more likely to just blow things up. But actually the best way to learn is through facing that fear and doing it, and you learn actually I was all right.
And sometimes that fears yourself. Like
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people have definitely like had to learn to like love themselves,
Yeah.
and I know that's quite a thing. That's been thrown
Yeah,
around.
it's,
That's quite
it's
like
a
a deep
phrase
thing.
you see on
It
TikTok.
gets thrown
yeah.
around like by people sort of our age all the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like to be able to sort of enjoy life and
Yeah.
and find those things that you actually enjoy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also know what to say not no to.
Yeah.
You kind of gotta just be happy in your own skin.
Yeah,
in
and
general.
that's where the strength of mind comes in, because
Definitely,
there's going to be
definitely.
people like
Yeah.
there's going to be challenges or things to take you off
Yeah.
track. If you're not strong, you got to say
Yeah.
like no to things.
Exactly.
Like so when you're
100%.
fitting,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
say no, you go nah, not
Yeah,
interested.
and it's not
And
that the more you say it, the easier it becomes.
Yeah, it's
the
choosing
more
the
you
path
say
that
it,
you actually want.
yeah, the more you say it, the more
Definitely.
validated you feel, and the
Yeah.
more empowered you feel to make those decisions more and more often.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And just be
definitely,
like,
definitely.
just having a good time when you can, you know, like just
Yeah.
doing things that interest you and like
Yeah.
make you feel good and like, you know,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't have to stress about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and that you're interested in and like
Mm-hmm.
make you laugh and like, and actually we talk about like loving yourself, but
Yeah.
actually like finding yourself funny or finding
Yeah,
yourself
exactly,
interested.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
ever
yeah.
thought, well, that
Yeah.
was a good thought. Thanks, brain.
Mhm.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah,
That's-
like yeah,
Yeah.
even if it's about
enjoying-
how you look
enjoying your brain.
yourself or something like,
Yeah.
because some people like, as you know, John probably, you know, the
Yeah.
PT guy explained, like you can look incredible, but if you don't feel
Yeah.
incredible, what's the point? Really?
That's it. And that's what
Yeah.
we're trying to do with brain
Yeah.
fitness, right? But you feel good about your brain.
Yeah.
People are frightened of their brain. I'm so
100%.
frightened of
Yeah.
that it's going to create these thoughts
Like
I'm
a
scared
mystical
of.
thing.
But
Yeah.
actually, turn it the other way when it's
Yeah.
fit. It actually like is a great place to be.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
definitely,
It's
definitely.
interesting. Like it's and you have confidence in your own
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah,
Like and it's not a
definitely.
scary place. Like
Yeah.
it's quite nice being in it. You know.
I think
Yeah.
that's another
Um,
thing with
yeah.
social media at the moment is that
Yeah.
mental health is such a thing because we have to talk about mental health. So if we don't talk about it, it's a stigma.
Yeah.
But maybe we've taken it to the next level
Yeah.
where we almost talk about it
Yeah.
too much, or we almost
Yeah.
make light of it. Like my friend and I call a mentee B, a mental breakdown. It's like a
Yeah.
light-hearted version of a
Yeah.
mental breakdown.
Using it as a blame, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, I had a
Yeah,
bit of
yeah.
a mentee B, that's why I did
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
that's actually, it's not okay to
That's
say
it,
that.
yeah.
That's a very serious thing, but not being able to make light of mental health, but being able to accept that mental health is something,
Yeah.
and most people will have some sort of mental health illness, and that's fine. It doesn't define you, and it's not going to impact every single decision in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been like, what are you interested in, right?
Yeah.
If you're like interested in being happy and wanting and feeling good, like you might have a bad day, but I'm not really interested in that. So what, that happened. Actually, I'm interested in look at all
Yeah.
this stuff I do. So we at the minute, there's too much talk about like mental health problems, too much talk about, in my opinion, our struggles, too much like wearing stress like a badge of honor. Look at all this trauma I've
Yeah.
gone through and all these labels
That's
I
true, yeah.
have.
There's a
But
lot of
actually,
that.
when you're brain fit, you might have them, but you ain't really that interested. So
Yeah.
what? That isn't me.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
doesn't stop me doing what I want to do and what I can do. And that's the focus. And we want to hear more people
It's more like
talking like
normalizing
that.
normal
Yeah,
things instead
more
of
people talking about
Yeah.
like
definitely, yeah.
yeah.
Because it seems like
I can-
online and things, it's either the extreme, like, oh, this is the most amazing thing that I've done. Look at it, everyone's
Yeah.
showing off everything that you've done, or it's the opposite. It's like, look how bad I am right
Yeah.
now. It's like
Yeah.
it seems to be one or the other
Yeah.
online in
Yeah.
general. Like it's quite hard to find genuine normal stuff, which is
Yeah.
why everyone now is kind of craving when it comes to social media stuff. Everyone's kind of craving raw and just normal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's like it's not it's not
Yeah.
false, it's not like heightened in any way.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I enjoy to watch and stuff
Yeah.
online as well. To be fair,
Yeah.
anything that's a bit more raw and a bit more normal,
Yeah. But
because you feel more human.
that's-
Absolutely.
people try to do that on TikTok all the time. They try
Yeah.
to sort of, I don't know.
Take a step back, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, oh, this is my real life. And again, coming back to sort of mental health thing, and there being a sort of a force of some sort making mental health more of a thing that it's like a trend. It's like when
Yeah.
a TikTok
Yeah.
like a TikTok trend becomes viral, mental health almost became viral on TikTok, that everyone had to talk about it. And no matter if you are that sort of page where you talk about mental health and mental well-being, even if it's just like, I don't know, a food blogger
Yeah.
on TikTok,
Yeah.
they start talking about their mental health. And it's just like everywhere you go is mental health on TikTok. It's almost like focusing, not that mental health is necessarily negative, but normally it is people talking about their mental health struggles. By talking about it more, you're bringing more attention to it, and it's that thing
This
of
is what you're
focusing
saying
on the
about-
negative.
Yeah.
You kind of do negative repetitions, like you said. It's all
Yeah,
about
it's well,
repetitions
it's-
of positive stuff is what you want to be doing,
it's
not
like
the
that we
repetitions of
was
negative stuff.
Saw a
Yeah.
fabulous sort of quote the other day where it was
Yeah.
like, talking about your problems is a bad
Definitely.
it's a bad habit to get into, to do it. Like, it's saying like never do it. Like, there's a time and a place for you to. But
Sometimes
to
you need to get it out of you.
consistently just talk about your problems, because essentially wherever you focus attention consistently, it's going to grow. Like whatever the area. So you're concentrating on your problems or things you can't do and all your struggles.
The amount of time that you spend
you're going to get crazy. Like, you're going to start paying attention. Like, it's just going to grow. Right? You're going to notice more of them. But if you're focusing on all the things that are good, that you can do, you're able to do, you want to do, you're interested, you're going to start paying more attention to that. You said to me, like, you're in quite often like in a positive mood. I said, well, I spend all my day asking people what's been good and talking about what's been good and hearing all these fabulous stories and the things that people can do and are able to do and want to do. It's like,
that's brilliant.
And
that's really good.
That kind of comes back to that do something you love kind of thing. And I think maybe that's something that isn't a bad thing to be sort of. That's definitely something I see on TikTok, is do something you love. If you're doing something that makes you happy every day, you're not going to have much time for negativity in your life, and you are going to be more brain fit for having more positivity in your life. Like, if you can, it's that thing of, my dad says it all the time, and I do disagree to a point, a problem shared is a problem doubled. The more you spread problems and negativity, we are going to create a generation of brain fucked. Like, if we're just talking about negative things,
if you see your friends,
social
then
media,
all of you just talking about the bad things all the time, which is
yeah.
quite a British thing.
Always complaining about something.
Then I think, like that, like you say, it can kind of double it in a way, and it can make you both feel worse about the situation.
It's actually creating a negative generation.
There's almost like it serves a purpose for a while, but there's almost like it's how many times can you sort of keep going over the same thing? It's like, right, like we want to find a solution. We want to be able to sort of solve problems.
I'm quite like that. I'll instantly try and find a solution, or try and be like quite optimistic in general. Sometimes that can be too much for people, or for myself even sometimes. But I guess it's because my mum or my dad's probably like that the same. I don't know. They're quite like, let's find a solution. Can be quite annoying.
Optimism, half glass full kind of thing.
So I kind of take it back a bit. I'm quite optimistic in general. I'm always like positive about as much as I can, but there's definitely a time to be negative as well.
Absolutely.
And it's picking the right times, like you say, instead of just feeding it constantly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because people have talked to me about like toxic positivity, and I said, well, and I think that's sort of what I'm doing. I said, no. Like, toxic positivity, have you heard about that term, and you understand what that means?
I think to a point, I used to think like there was a girl at my school who would just smile all the time, and she was nice to everyone. I was like, there's no way you can like everyone. Like, you're a really horrible person if you can like everyone. You're making this up. But they're like, that's not toxic. That was just her personality. But toxic positivity is never acknowledging the negative, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, and so that being the default mode of always got to just try and think positive, and that is not what we're doing in brain.
You're not really building your mental strength to be able to deal with the negative if you just completely block it out. Almost, it's like cutting out.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, like junk food.
It's like ignoring anything.
It's like just said, okay, I'm never looking at chocolate again, because even that temptation to eat it like will make me put on weight or something. Like, that's not the answer. It's everything in moderation.
Well, that's absolutely. It's like with that sort of just reducing, like, I've got to lose weight, so I'm just going to stop eating, and then actually, I'm just going to have a really like calorie deficit, and we know that's not good for your fitness, but it gets your outcomes, right? Like, you lose the weight, but it isn't great. Actually, the healthier way to do is what we do. Like, we concentrate when you can on like what feels good, and doing these brain boosts, because and understanding what you're doing in the brain when you're releasing these chemicals is actually going to make your brain more relaxed and able to handle, like, if a difficult thing comes in, right, I can handle this, and I can do what I need to do. I can deal with it head on, rather than being in denial about something. I can have that difficult conversation with someone, or I take action to deal with this, rather than just bury my head in the sand.
It's not ignoring the negative things or the problems that are there. It's being able to address them, and if you can't address them in that moment, take yourself away and do something, but still come back and address it. Don't just push it to a side and never acknowledge that there's bad things in life, because like in the world we're growing up in, I feel like there's just bad things everywhere, and it could be really easy
you can easily have it thrown at you constantly from every angle,
and you just you need to be prepared, and you need to be mentally fit to be able to deal with
that's a really interesting thing you just said there about like, do you think you have sort of too much exposure, like it's not a real representation of, like, because you're seeing a lot of negative if you're on social media, like, so then it's quite easy to assume, well, that's just how the world is, like it's very negative.
You
know,
especially
when it's not actually the reality.
Well, it's algorithms, isn't it? Algorithms are obviously being trained to, if you keep watching negative stuff or any specific topic, then it's obviously going to just keep feeding it to you over and over again. Obviously mine's all car stuff because I'm into cars, so it's just constantly mine's just constantly car stuff. But yeah, so it's
that thing of, like, if one video comes up on TikTok of, like, someone talking about something in the news, like the other day it was like the Trump stuff, someone, like, one video came up on my thing and I liked it, because sometimes you just automatically like stuff, but then my feed after that, even like still today, it's still happening, it's all this, and I'm just like, okay, but where's, like, the funny viral TikTok dances that make me laugh, or people dropping stuff on their feet? Like, it just doesn't. And I don't know.
You have to really be on it then, don't you?
Yeah.
It's like it's another brain.
Really,
it's like it's like the algorithms are another brain, and you have to, like, train that as well.
Yeah, but then that comes to brain
if you
rot.
want to be on social media all the time.
You can't
well,
rot on TikTok, because you do have to be paying attention to not sort of get stuck in this cycle of,
which makes it
if I
unfit,
accidentally
which is
like
crazy.
But there's a reason why you only get like the car stuff, because we're very deliberate about sort of what you
you can't, like, say I'm training it because I want to see car stuff.
Yeah, so you're engaging the most with
exactly, and positive stuff as well in general, like
and it's that kind of thing.
It's like a second brain, like you have to be deliberate about, like, training it to give you like more positive stuff.
Yeah, it's like that thing of your phone listening to you. Like, your phone is, it's not listening, but it's taking in everything you're doing. It's like when you say accept cookies. If you like, we're all clicking yes, it's just like it's taking everything on board that you do on your phone, and giving you stuff with that. So if you're, I don't know, engaging with one negative thing on your phone, your phone's going to give you loads of horrible things that are really negative and not very nice to read. So I don't know, is that sort of positive mindset but with your phone almost?
Quite enough time to carry on. So interesting. I want to know, we were talking about the generational thing, like, what are some of the, like, differences? I don't know if this is the right question. Or if you have a better question, like, please let me know. But I'm just curious, sort of, what are the, like, because if we're talking about brain fitness being like the demand, like fit for the demands of life or whatever. So what are some? We've talked about the demands, some demands, but what are some of, like, the forces, if you like maybe from other generations, or what are some of, like, the pressures that, like, you think your generation have to face in particular, like, just that's perhaps to do with your stage of life, like, or just or your generation, but, like, what's some of the key the themes that come to mind that you have to be fit for?
Personal thing. I think it depends on sort of your family and, I don't know, what you grew up with and how your family are now, almost, like, not just immediate family, extended family. Like, mine was always go to uni, get a good job, provide well for yourself and others, and I don't know, earn a good wage. However you need to do that, do it. Like, just go to uni and just sort of follow that path. And I think a lot of people still feel that pressure. I went back to my school and career guidance teacher said that everyone still feels that way. They can't see that it's their decision. And I think, anyone at any school will feel that, is that in the UK, the only thing you go and do is go to uni, or you might get an apprenticeship, but it's not as common. I think that's a really big pressure, is that that's a decision that's almost taken away from you before you even have the choice to make it.
And that still feels very much, because I remember that being the case when I was a teenager, like, deciding which path to go on, and that's still very much the case now, like,
even though it's said so much that you have so many other options, like, you don't need a degree to get
I don't think
job.
anyone, I mean, obviously, like, I was lucky with my dad being self-employed and having his own businesses and stuff when he was younger and stuff. Like, he kind of showed me that there's, you don't have to go to university. Like, you can, if you meet the right people, you can do the right things.
So that wasn't necessarily a pressure
for me,
for you.
I didn't have that at all. But you definitely had the schools and the way society is and everything. Like, everyone was constantly talking to me about what they're doing at uni, how they're doing at uni, parties, everything, all the time. But then when I was actually away from it, it was kind of like, oh, I'm kind of free to do whatever I want with my life.
So you're just following a path that you want, like going to brain fitness. When we're doing what we want, like, our brain fitness is going to be
it's
good, right?
Being able to block out the pressure.
You have to find it. That's
But sometimes, like, when you're at school, you don't have a choice. Like,
definitely felt like that. Like I said, I was the only person in my year, I think, that didn't go to university.
I was one out of two out in mine, like, in an 80 people class. And it's difficult to then make your own decision when everyone else around you is making a completely different decision to you. And when you're in a school, you don't have a choice what school you go to. You're at school.
Definitely.
And if all your teachers are saying, okay, we're sitting in a class and we're doing our UCAS application, Okay, but
Yeah,
what
yeah.
am I doing if I don't want
I
to do
remember
my
that, yeah.
UCAS
Yeah.
application? Well,
Yeah.
you're not doing anything else. You're still doing a UCAS application.
Right.
Yeah, the teacher was kind of rude,
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
rude to me.
You're kind of looked
because I was
down
like,
upon.
So
well,
you have to also
Yeah.
living a brain fit path actually like is not.
Yeah.
And this is why
You have to be strong,
It comes back,
yeah.
but it comes back to
Yeah.
there's a reason why people aren't happy because it can be a difficult road, because you're
Yeah.
going against you, but you're doing what
Going
feels
against
right for
grain,
you,
yeah,
but you're going
definitely.
against the grain, or you're
Yeah.
going to face challenges because
Yeah.
it can involve sort of difficult decisions.
But I suppose
Definitely.
at that
Definitely.
age it's even more difficult because up until you leave school, you don't
Yeah.
you can't really make decisions for yourself in
yeah,
that way.
and your brain
Yeah.
hasn't fully
Yeah.
formed yet.
and
as
that's
in
why
you
people
haven't-
won't
you
let
haven't
you
got-
make
yeah.
your own decisions.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
you don't know what's best. Like parents would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That-
yeah.
yeah,
You don't know what's best for you.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
like even now, people still say that to me. Like,
yeah.
oh, I
Yeah,
learned
yeah,
this, but
definitely.
you need to learn things yourself because
Do
you
you
need to
think
do
this,
things
do you think
yourself.
this generation are getting
Huge
better at
about-
going, I'm going to try something new?
Oh,
Because I think
100%.
because you
Yeah,
see
I'd
so many
say
people
so.
like we
Yeah.
go on these paths
Yeah.
and we just end up on this path and this road, and then
Yeah.
it gets to like midlife and we go,
Yeah.
Yeah.
ah,
I mean,
this
see
is
the
not
amount of
the
people
path I
that
want to be
go
on.
traveling, the amount of people
Yeah,
that are like
yeah.
digital nomads now and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It
If
just
anything,
shows that
social
it is
media is good for that.
Good for that.
Everyone's like,
100%.
yeah.
like there's
yeah.
literally videos of people being like,
You can see what
post
you
that
can
video,
do.
do what
Yeah.
you want to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Like,
you
don't
can
be
find
scared
you
to do
can
it.
find it, like you can find those
Yeah.
paths that,
Yeah.
that you might enjoy. And it's like again going back to the kind of at the beginning we were saying about having bravery of just trying those things.
Yeah.
And a lot of people struggle with that bit, but I feel like if you've gone through something when you were younger
Yeah.
where you had to be brave, like
But isn't this
then-
what? Isn't this
Yeah.
these the stories that we want to hear of?
Yeah.
Not like my struggles, but look at these brave decisions I've
Yeah.
made.
Exactly,
Like
yeah.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like we want to hear more of those. What are
Definitely,
these like
definitely.
stories of these brave decisions you're making to go to follow like what feels right for
Yeah.
you? Like, and then because people get inspired, like
Yeah.
he's doing it, I can do it.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
100%.
it's
I mean,
so
yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Obviously, you're
videos
gonna
like
get
that.
you're gonna get
fluke.
bullied until
Yeah,
until
no
somebody
fluke.
else joins you. Yeah, pretty
Absolutely,
much.
and no fluke,
Yeah.
you ended up that way. Like,
Yeah.
like it was a decision, like a
Yeah.
path, like that got you there. There's a process that got you
Yeah.
there. Like, and that's what we want to hear more of,
Yeah,
right? Like
definitely.
more of
Yeah.
these stories.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally spreading positivity, not to be
Yeah.
cliche or anything, but
Yeah.
it is as simple as that. Is that if
Mm-hmm.
you share positive things,
Yeah.
it's almost like positive things will find you, or whatever
Yeah.
they say.
Yeah.
That sort of.
But it's
manner.
like,
It's definitely not easy though, you know.
No.
But
Like-
absolutely,
Oh,
as I said, that's
absolutely.
why not many people are happy.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but that's how you improve your brain fitness
Absolutely,
by.
but fitness, being fit, isn't easy, right? You know, so people
Exactly,
who are
it's the same thing,
That's
yeah.
But that's
the
why
thing.
everyone's not a
Exactly.
professional athlete. It's
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
easy.
But that's why
Yeah.
everyone's not like. But we don't have to be a professional athlete just in like really good shape. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't run a marathon. That's why not many
Definitely.
people do it because it takes hard work.
Mhm,
It's the same with the brain, but the rewards are so worth it. But it's
Yeah.
all down
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
your choice at the end of the day.
But it's also trial and
100%.
error.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to
Absolutely.
get it like by making a decision, not necessarily going to be
Yeah.
the right decision every time. You
Yeah.
are going to learn that sometimes
Yeah.
you make the wrong decision, but you will learn from that. in
Absolutely,
turn.
and it's
Definitely.
that like, and that is what's growing your brain is that trying,
yeah,
like
it's
that
training,
confidence.
yeah.
It's like, well, the world didn't end, and I tried, and I gave it, and at the end of the day, I gave it a try.
Yeah.
You know, and that
Well, didn't
feels
it?
good to know that, and
Yeah.
that will keep
Yeah.
these positive.
Yeah,
feelings.
it's like weight training.
Exactly.
It's like saying
Yeah.
you can. So you're going to do 2 sets of
Yeah.
8 to 10 at one weight,
Mm.
but then you need to train your body to be able
Yeah.
to lift a higher weight. So you're only
Yeah.
going to try for 2 reps at
Yeah.
a higher weight.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
If you don't try, you're never going to go to the
yeah, yeah.
reps.
You need to
So
try
you have to
different
actually
things
try.
until
Yeah.
something works.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Brilliant.
Yeah, nice.
So, just to
Good old wrap up.
recap on some things,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
some,
Takeaways.
Go for
some
it.
takeaways. Actually, social media is actually there's some really good things about social media
Yeah.
that you get to
Yeah.
learn, like there are other people doing other things, and actually
Mm.
you can choose which path to go on. Like if
Definitely.
you're
Yeah.
a generation, like
Massive advocate for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
Fab-
open it. Yeah,
and
definitely.
that like another takeaway that sorry, I've just lost my train of thought there. Can you think of anything?
Just that the choice is always yours.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's the thing with social. Like, that's the biggest takeaway maybe for the whole thing. Is
Yeah, with
that,
what you receive online.
yeah, what you
but
receive
also
online, what you
do
choose to
in real
engage
life.
with.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
definitely,
all your
definitely.
choice,
Yeah.
and there is, I mean, there's a right and a wrong at the end of the day, but you have to do rights and wrongs to
Yeah.
get that sort of. There's never going to be a perfect thing, but
I like that idea of
Definitely,
training
yeah.
your second brain as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
it.
definitely,
I love it,
definitely. Yeah, having a second
Yeah.
brain that's online, just training it in
Yeah.
the right way
Yeah.
to see what you want to see and not.
Brilliant, love it.
Yeah, exactly.